Hello and welcome to Comms Business Live with Cirrus and Gamma. Today we're going to be talking about keeping pace with change, and this is all about implementing change in an unpredictable environment and the importance of reacting quickly. Today I'm joined by Joe Pratten, hosted sales specialist at Gamma, and Andrew Tucker, success manager at Cirrus. Do you guys just want to start with just telling me a little about the relationship between your two companies?
Yeah, sure. Andrew, shall I take that one?
Yes, please, if you don't mind, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. So just as a quick introduction into the Gamma Cirrus relationship, I mean, I think it was probably about 18 months ago now when we kind of realized that we had a really robust UCaaS offering. And I think people really knew Gamma in the market for our SIP offering, our Horizon offering. And I guess the more customers we sold to, the more we noticed that there was a bit of a space for CCaaS and that importance of customer engagement management solutions. And I think, it actually started off with Cirrus being a customer of ours. So obviously we help support their underlying platform in terms of connectivity. And more conversations were happening where actually we had an end customer solution that needed it. So I think the kind of conversation started from there. And ever since, I guess we've been introducing them to our channel partners to help add a CCaaS layer over the top to our channel partners, but also our direct business have been implementing Cirrus for probably the last 18 months to 2 years now, and it's just been a very successful relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and in terms of this kind of keeping pace with change movement, how important is it to choose a flexible and intuitive solution to achieve that?
Shall I open with this one?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Well, how important is it to take a flexible and intuitive solution? I think you've got two different things here. You've got the flexibility to be able to react to a particularly challenging environment that we're in at the moment. We have been put under enormous pressure from a business perspective over the last 8 months, with COVID compelling everybody to work from home. Businesses are being forced to adapt to an environment that some of them might have flirted with in the past, but never really taken particularly seriously. And of course, the challenges presented to businesses is, do I have the technology? Do I have the capability? Do I have the infrastructure to be able to support truly remote working? So that flexibility that you get from a CCaaS offering such as Cirrus with Gamma gives you all I need to do is plug into my laptop, have a decent internet connection, and where I go, I can access services from wherever. So that flexibility is something that we just innately do out of the box. But you mentioned intuitive. That's a really important point that I want to try and stress, is that if you are in a challenging environment and you are asking people to work in home situations and actually adapt to new personal challenges, I'm gone from an office to work from home, and businesses have to try and cope with this shift. The last thing you want to do is put in front of them something which is really difficult to use or complicated or clumsy and clunky, like some old sort of contact center systems that I've encountered in the past. So an intuitive, easy, flexible, simple interface actually helps promote a better agent experience, which then facilitates better engagement with the customers. So it's simple to use, easy and flexible are absolute key for this, because there's enough going on. Joseph, come on. It's been a movie. It's been chaotic.
It's been 3 minutes and I don't think anyone's mentioned coronavirus yet, which is a record, I think. But no, I just to add to that, really, I mean, flexibility, when we're talking about technology, Andy's right, it can mean so many different things. And I think one area is around licensing. So if we take any business, and there's been massive winners and massive losers in the coronavirus pandemic. And I think, having a technology platform that you can be flexible with your numbers, and again, it plays into the hands of cloud. But, if all of a sudden I furlough my staff, well, actually, I might have a load of technology licensing that I also want to be able to furlough. So having a platform that you can, generically spike up and down with those user numbers is absolutely key. And I think, if you had a tender document from a customer 5 years ago and it said, how does your platform react to pandemic, or how would your platform react to having to work from home suddenly, everyone would be like, what's this question all about? Now, I think going forward, we're going to see, how does your platform deal with rapid change, as a standard question now going forward. And I guess just to add on one last bit to that, flexibility from a platform configuration point of view, and what do I mean by that is, when you sit down with a contact center consultant and you build your call flows, you do it based on business as usual. We have this number of agents, we expect this number of calls, this many web chats, and this many emails. We'll build our configuration to deliver a good customer experience based on that. But what happens when a blonde man comes on TV on a Saturday night and says, as of Monday or as of the next Thursday, we're all going into lockdown again? Or what if I implement a rule of 6 and now your holiday resort or your restaurant now can't take bookings of over 6 people? Now all of a sudden you're going to have 6 months worth of future bookings ringing you up in one go, and that's something I've experienced through this pandemic, of ringing a holiday company and saying, we need to know whether we can cancel. Well, actually, if they could be flexible and agile with how they implemented change, they could have probably got rid of 90% of those calls in their call flow, just simply by telling people your booking's still safe, you'll get a full refund, you're entitled to it a later date. But because they didn't have that flexible, call flow administration side of things, it couldn't cope, and it wasn't letting their callers know what was going on. So I think flexibility is, probably one of the biggest, key points that a customer should look for.
Yeah, and you've obviously mentioned several areas there where companies can have the flexibility they need to implement new solutions, even at the moment when things are moving really quickly and changing all the time. But for companies that are thinking these investments are kind of a little bit risky at the moment, what would you say about kind of why companies should make changes now and kind of not delay decisions?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we've probably noticed is that again, the situation, the pandemic probably hasn't, introduced necessarily new things. It's just sped everything up. Take home working and unified communications, take Microsoft Teams. There was traction towards that anyway, especially in the enterprise and mid-market. And it's just, what it's done is really sped up that kind of home working, unified communications. And I think from a contact center space, it's done the same thing. People that have traditional legacy phone systems that, the owners of those businesses thought, we can probably get another 3 to 5 years out of this bit of tin, are probably now thinking, actually, this is a great excuse for us to do an evaluation, and make that move into the cloud. Because let's face it, I think customers' expectations are only going up. The more people that have, really sexy features like, callback in queue and, recognizing that I've got a booking in the next 24 hours, so jumping me up to the top of the queue. I think more and more, the more and more people that do that, the more and more customers experience it, and therefore the expectations rise. So I think, yes, it's risky. It's always risky to make a change, but I think, if the technology is proven and you can do a proof of concept and understand that actually implementing this is really good for my business, whether we're in COVID, whether we're out of COVID, new normal, whatever you want to call it, I think that is money well spent. I don't know what you would say to that, Andrew.
Well, I mean, I've got a couple of points, as you would expect, but I mean, one thing that we've noticed, you make a very, very important point, Joseph, that speed of change for businesses has really been emphasized in this pandemic. So you've got a lot of companies that I know of, for example, that have been talking about making a change, adapting and taking on new technology for a significant amount of time, but they've been piecemeal in their approach. What's happened is the consumer market has really put pressure on businesses, because a lot of consumers need reassurance that there is BAU. I'm trying to contact services. Public sector with vulnerable housing and vulnerable critical care people, they need reassurance. And if a business can't react to that and can't provide sort of the channels and the flexibility and the access that people are requiring, then there is something fundamentally wrong. So businesses are taking a slightly different approach, which is, I'm dusting off my plan and I need to do something to react, because actually our customers, our citizens and our clients are actually suffering. So to my mind, what I can see is an acceleration of change, but also because consumers have more time at their disposal at the moment, there are two distinct cycles here. You have a buying cycle for contact centers, which tends to work on a 3 to 5 year refresh cycle, and they tend to be quite slow in adopting new technology because they're quite risk adverse. Your consumers sat at home with effective omni-channel technology in their pocket, and they're using their fingers, they're chatting digitally and swapping from one channel to another seamlessly. And they have more time on their hands because the pandemic has compelled us to work from home. They're accessing services and contact centers traditionally haven't been able to react to that, but the environment has allowed that to change. So because of this shifting pandemic, contact centers buying cycles are catching up now with the market and consumer trends, which means the investment is unlocking. But the nice thing, because we got a perfect storm of good causality here, right? The nice thing about moving to cloud is that you're not investing in legacy, great big bits of kit. Cloud allows you to plug into an OpEx model for your licensing with the flexibility. So you're not having to spend CapEx to get these systems up and running. And the flexibility allows you to try new channels to see whether or not your business has the appetite for adoption. So investment, well, the buying cycles are still there. Businesses are still adopting, but the consumer market has changed, almost compelling them to do it. And of course, the offerings that you get from cloud mean that it is less cost severe to enter into this market. Also, and I'm going to labor this point, consumers are shifting. If you don't provide them with the services that they want and allow them the contact to your center and your services to a business, they'll leave, and they do. We're seeing that. I know, for example, personal experience, I left an insurance company because I couldn't get the answer that I needed quickly and easily. So I actually shifted policy because they couldn't help me. I had routine questions. They weren't answering the phone. So I shifted to a disruptor who was more digitally inclined. Consequently, I'm marching with my pocket. So businesses can suffer, bottom line, by not adopting and adapting.
I think over the pandemic, I was going to say over the pandemic that we've probably seen some of the best examples of customer experience, and organizations just doing the right thing by the customer, and then other examples of it was a dishwasher company, it blew up during COVID, which is the last thing you want. Trying to find out if it was under warranty, rang them up 3 times, and both times never got answered. I think I waited 9 minutes, 7 minutes, and 14 minutes. Tried the email route, got an auto response saying SLA is 5 days. That was about 45 days ago now. So straight away, when I'm now searching for a new dishwasher, you kind of take that brand out of your search and you won't even consider them. So I think this is, but I guess it's because we work in this space and work in this technology. You're always looking out for when businesses go the extra mile, because it's great to share that customer experience with your prospective customers as well.
So I guess what you're both saying there is that kind of customer ability to take coronavirus as an excuse for kind of delays in response rates and things like that, it's just not enough anymore? Or do you think there is still a bit of understanding that no one's quite working business as normal at the moment?
Well, I don't know about you, but when I get on the phone to whatever service, I might be trying to access a bank or some insurance provider, or I'm just trying to do something around returns because I've been shopping online so much, listening to we're terribly sorry, we're really busy, coronavirus is impeding our ability to be able to help you. It's like, come on, you've had since March. It's almost as if you're getting a bit of fatigue around the same old excuse. So businesses, we're at 8 months in now, and businesses have had an opportunity to adapt. I know that Gamma has come up with some incredible initiatives to partners to be able to help get you through a short-term fix with licensing and flexibility. We've supported Gamma as well with some short-term COVID-based solutions where you can spin up really quickly. So we know businesses are prepared to embrace and adopt and adapt. The businesses that don't are the ones that suffer, and consumers are basically saying, I've had enough now, honestly, get with it. If you're not going to answer the phone, at least do it by email. Don't do the 45-day delay that Joe's experiencing. Get onto either web chat or WhatsApp, or do something to reassure, because ultimately customers want that reassurance. I'm not going to sit here and bang on about you must have this channel or you must have that channel. Actual customer experience is engaging with the customers and responding somehow. Not keeping them in a constant loop on the phone saying, I'm sorry, we're really busy. I'm sorry, we're really busy. Well, yeah, we get it, but then do something about it.
I totally agree. And I think, we've, like you said, we've been in it for 8 months now. And, in the first week, the first month, the first 2 months, if, we were all in the same boat, all reacting to it in our own ways. But the second you started to see some organizations, evolve and adapt and start coming out the other side even better, you're like, okay, if they can do it, why can't you? And it comes down to an appetite for not spending money, and again, that's completely understandable with some organizations, but you can't look at yourself and go, why are customers leaving us in droves if we're not investing in that one thing that underpins your customer journey. And unfortunately, that is technology. Agents is a big part of it, but the technology that supports those agents is a fundamental part of that customer experience. And I think investing in that is absolutely key.
Yep. So what we do know as well, and another thing that we see, because I monitor things like the press, and you look at business with a keen interest, right? So whilst people are saying, or the narrative of people are getting fed up with hearing that COVID is an excuse, the demand and pressure is still the same for contact centers to respond. And I do hear, and this is actually quite upsetting sometimes when you hear it, is that your critical and your vulnerable customers, let's say public sector, the most at need, the most at critical, are not getting serviced with the speed and efficiency that they would respect, that they need to be dealt with, because everybody else is in this logjam of inefficiencies. So you're starting to see some quite alarming habits, if you like, where VIP customers aren't getting through. To Joseph's point about, well, if I've got a booking and I want to just get on and talk to it, why can't I talk? Why can't I get priority? The basic, simple priority routing, which would apply in public sector and private sector alike, isn't necessarily being applied. But there are some simple, easily deployed methods that you can use to help alleviate the pressure and actually respond accordingly. And it is a little bit of best practice here. As Joe said, you've got businesses that are adapting and businesses that are embracing technology as a change. And it doesn't necessarily have to be big ticket items, but it's now compelling businesses and having the narrative around how are you looking after the most important section of your base, whether that is the super critical vulnerable, or is that your VIP customers? What are you actually doing? And allowing Gamma and Cirrus to actually take the grunt work and the strain and do all of the boring bits in the background, if you like, so that you can have the good conversations with your clients about what's your strategy to make sure that they're looked after. What is your plan for the next 3 or 4 or 5 months? Because quite frankly, people are suffering to a degree, but businesses, I feel, should actually be doing a little bit more to react and respond accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely. And for kind of those channel partners that are looking at call and contact center technologies and wanting to get involved, do you guys have any tips that you might give them on how they can kind of approach customers and address the challenges you guys mentioned there?
Yeah, I think that's quite an interesting one, and one that you probably discussed for hours actually. And Gamma being very much a channel centric organization, I get to sit in lots of meetings with lots and lots of different channel partners and lots of end users. And I think one of the biggest challenges is UC as a service and contact center as a service often get kind of plugged together, or it's a UCaaS, it's a CCaaS platform, and they're very, very different sales. Yes, you might have a stakeholder from the SLT, from the board of directors, but selling to an IT manager and selling to a contact center leader is a very, very different sell. And I think the nice thing about the UCaaS side is an IT directors, they're actually very friendly, and they will tell you the features and they'll tell you the capabilities they're looking for. I think in a contact center world, they're potentially slightly less technical, so they're more likely to give you a problem. I've got a problem with first call resolution, I've got a problem with average handling time, I've got a problem with agent engagement, and it's your job as a channel partner, as a salesperson, to go, that's the customer's issue. We've got a platform capability that in our experience has helped other people, and it's plugging together unknown problems or known problems with platform capability and demonstrating that. Whereas in a UC world, I need 50 handsets and soft phones and this and UC, and it's quite standardized and we know what we want. Whereas in a contact center, no contact center is the same. And being able to match those business critical features to the customer's problems is quite a difficult challenge for a lot of salespeople, especially when as a reseller, I might have Gamma for my SIP and my cloud offering, I might have a Mitel and Avaya as my on-premise offering, I might have an enterprise contact center as my overlay, I might also be a Microsoft reseller. And I think it's a really, really difficult job as a as a reseller to be a specialist in all of those. And I think that's where having vendors like Gamma and Cirrus, where we actually have departments and divisions within our organization where we have product specialists. And you're like, guys, can you come and help me, please? I've got a really great opportunity. I just need you to paint the product in its best possible light. And I think that's, something that's really, really important to Gamma and Cirrus, that we have those product specialists that can come in, bring the product to life, and hopefully, we're not saying we'll do the job of selling for you, that's absolutely yours, but we'll come in and help show that product in its best possible light, because we live and breathe it.
I know from our side, we're doing a lot in support of Gamma, obviously, but we're doing a lot around educational pieces. So what can we do in the contact center world, and how can we bring that to life? Because to Joseph's point, there are so many different moving parts when you're approaching a business. From a reseller's perspective, how can you be a subject matter expert on absolutely everything? But we're working towards getting those elevator sound bites and those pitches and those nuggets and those important gems of questions that'll help stimulate the conversation. If I can give one thing here, or one sort of, not a piece of advice, but something that I find works incredibly well. And I've been listening to Joseph. Joseph is talking about his own experience in trying to get hold of services. Now, if you take yourself as a consumer and think over the last 8 months, where have your frustrations stem from when you've been trying to access some business? Because contact centers, there are thousands of them. Contact centers, there's 1,100 contact centers of over 20 seats or more in the United Kingdom. Nearly 5% of the UK adult workforce is employed in a contact center. It's a huge industry, right? And it touches everything: banking, insurance, finance, retail, shopping, everything. I mean, you call up a supermarket to complain about a pizza, you're talking to a contact center. But any experience that you've had, if you try and step through that and understand the difficulties that that business actually has in delivering a good customer experience in this current market, will help you build an interesting narrative and get you engaged in a conversation where you can then say, do you know what, we've got a solution in the back, let's just make sure I get in contact with Gamma, let's make sure I get in contact with Cirrus to be able to bring this to life for you. Because we are about how you deliver outcomes to businesses without sweating the technology. So put your own perspective into it. What experience have you had where you got frustrated, and then apply that to the conversations that you have with businesses? Because I can tell you they're exactly the same scenarios. And you can employ that tactic across pretty much all industries. Private sector for high VIP sales, public sector for critical care. The tactics and the approach and the strategies are the same. There's just a slightly different buying process and cycle.
I don't know about you, Andrew, but one other thing that often kind of comes up, and if I compare, this year to this week last year, I was probably in our London office doing a face-to-face demo presentation to people, and I'm one of these people that really thrives off of being in front of people and using my hands and dancing around at the front of the room and trying to make everything come to light. And I think what I've really, really struggled with, and my boss has to give me a little pep talk every now and again, is just this whole, just doing everything over webinar. And, thank God we've got things like Horizon Collaborate and Microsoft Teams that we can, do a video conference, and we can very easily get in front of people virtually. But I'm really, really missing that. And what I found is actually my demos probably aren't as strong as what they used to be. So I think one bit of advice that I would give is, use video. It's so tempting just to turn that video thing off, but actually it's so much more engaging, and more importantly, I can tell when I'm boring someone to death when they're on video, because I can see them nodding off. But it's you can really, really gauge people's reactions, and I think just practicing that online demo and trying to customize it, put something funny in if you can, have your fictional character calling up as Donald Trump, whatever it may be. It's getting over those hurdles of remote selling. I think you could probably run a separate webinar just on the, overcoming or engaging people remotely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think all those areas you pointed to are just making it very clear that this is a completely different world that people are kind of selling in and working in. So the kind of techniques that are being used need to change in line with that. But thanks both of you for your time this afternoon. I think we've given our viewers a lot to think about. So we'll go away from here, and thanks for joining us, and I'm sure
no worries at all.
Can soon.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. Cheers, Andrew.
Thanks, Charlotte. Thanks, Joe.
Take care. Bye.
Bye now.